Good evening. Is the Crucial Crew member. I am Jay. This is a Crucial Crew podcast, the Space Oats live stream. Um, so tonight, it's the first podcast of the year. This is episode 8. You know what? I haven't even really figured out a title for this one yet. Or no, I did. I did come up with a title. It's Attack of the Top 3. Attack of the Top 3, episode 8, Attack of the Top 3. So I'm gonna go and talk about my top 3 moments of Star Wars for 2022. So let's get right into it. My top 3 moments from Star Wars for 2022. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna kind of count these down from my third awesome moment to my second awesome moment to my just outstanding, amazing, awesome moment from Star Wars. So first, my top 3. My third biggest moment of 2022 is gonna have to be the Andor series. I know there was a lot of great stuff released this year on Disney Plus. I mean, Star Wars is amazing, and it's great to have so much content get released on Disney Plus. And I'm happy, to get more stuff all the time. As much as we can get, it's amazing. Andor is probably my favorite series so far that's been released on Disney Plus. I think it's pulled that too far. Andor is definitely my favorite Star Wars series to be released on Disney Plus so far. I think the reason is because I know a lot of people either loved Rogue One or hated Rogue One. I loved Rogue One. I thought the reason being is because it was something different from Star Wars. It gave us a look at a different part of the Star Wars galaxy, and not focused mainly on the Jedi or the Force. And Rogue One even still had some of that content, which still gave us some ties to that. And there's other series that still do the same thing. I think that's why, Mandalorian was great, but you still had ties to the Force, and you still had Jedi end up showing up in the Mandalorian series. The reason why I love Andor so much is because it did not have any of that. It really took Star Wars on a different path that we've really seen yet, and carried it the entire story, all episodes. 12 episodes and there's not anything really mentioned at all about, honestly, I kind of want to go back and watch because I don't remember any mention of the Jedi or the Force or anything the entire time. So, and it still carried its weight all the way through, and it was amazing. There were so many storylines that made that amazing. So many characters developed, which made that series amazing. Just breaking down my favorite. Even honestly, my favorite character from Andor was Mon Mothma. Genevieve O'Reilly did an amazing job. She was outstanding. I loved the character development of Mon Mothma. I loved the family aspect to see, what her struggles were. I'm really excited. Like, out of every character, I'm excited to see where the story goes with her. We all know where she ends up. She's one of the ones that we're going to know continues on, because we have her in Rebels. We have her in Return of the Jedi. We have her in other novels and series that basically she's going to show up in. So we know that she survives. How does she get there is what we're going to see. Basically we're going to see her abandon Coruscant. We're going to possibly see her abandon her family, or does she lose her family? I'm really excited to see the development of Mon Mothma and the storyline of that. That's really the most anticipation for me for season 2 of Andor. So, Cassian was definitely my favorite my second favorite character. Um, B2 Emo was amazing. I mean, really cool new concept for a droid that's talking but looks like a, you know, the idea of taking like a rolling droid like R2 or BB-8 and like putting that type of droid, but making that droid speak was different. There was so much difference. Luthen was amazing. Ciro, I mean, really creepy. Probably not my favorite character. Um, there was just so much great character development in that series. So many great characters, and I really can't wait to see what we what these character where these characters are going to go. I mean, we know where some of them end up, but I can't wait to see what stories hold for the second series. So that was definitely by far my favorite series of all year. If I were to try to like rank every series, Andor would be my number one, Obi-Wan Kenobi number two, Book of Boba Fett number three, out of the year. But I just think the reason why it's my favorite is it took us in a different direction than anything that we've seen in Star Wars before. So it was by far my favorite Disney Plus series so far with Star Wars. I can't wait for episode two or season two. And we got to wait a while for that one, but I'm really super excited for that second series. Um, because it's a different part of Star Wars. It's a different part of Star Wars than we've ever seen before. You know, taking us away from the Jedi. Now I can see where the second series may bring in some of that, just like, you know, all the other series have kind of tied in the Jedi and the Force at some point. I can see that maybe happening, but I really hope it doesn't. I really hope it, because I think it can stand on its own. I really do feel that that series can stand on its own and without any mention of the Force, or even if it mentions it, that's fine. But I really don't want it to have characters with using the Force or using their Jedi abilities. If they bring in characters from Rebels, that's great, but I hope it's somebody like Hera um, and Sabine in that way. Even if they, even if they did bring in Kanan somehow to the live action, don't have him break out his lightsaber. You know, he just starts to really use it in Rebels. Make it where he doesn't even maybe carry it with him at this point. Maybe he keeps it on the Ghost the entire time. Um, just have Kanan like not really using his Force abilities, kind of closing him off from the Force. Maybe he's at that point in his life where he doesn't even want anybody to know because he's still afraid to show that side of him. That fear has still got him. So, but yeah, I'd love to see like Chopper and Hera and Kanan and possibly Sabine somehow and Zeb somehow interact. Obviously, Ezra's not going to be there. Um, Maybe not yet, because maybe it's the first season. I mean, if it's later on in Andor, then Ezra will be with them because that kind of is going to be parallel. The second season, I think, is going to be paralleling with the time frame of Rebels, so we could actually see some of the characters from Rebels maybe cross over into Andor. Maybe we see a live action version of shoot. uh, Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, I guess it's getting late, so I'm drawing a blank. But some of the Imperial, maybe not Thrawn. I mean, but basically, I mean, honestly, Thrawn could show up in Andor season two, which would be crazy if that were the case. Um, Callus, that's who. Man, good lord, totally drawing a blank. Agent Callus could show up. It would be so cool to see some of those Rebel tie-ins and not, you could bring in characters that don't have any tie-ins to the Force or not, and we can get that connection and really make Rebels, really show that Rebels is part of canon, especially if you start making those characters live action. And then maybe we get to, see a little bit more of their characters at a different point maybe with some different missions that we didn't see in Rebels. Um, Especially with Ahsoka and some of those characters showing up, it'd be a great tie to that, which would be amazing. So yeah, so Andor, my number three moment of 2020 through 2022 for Star Wars. Andor series, with some of those other series as honorable mentions, but I'm going with Andor as my number three. And that's the only Disney Plus series that makes my top three. All the other ones are great. Don't get me wrong, I love getting Star Wars content. All the other ones are great. My number two moment is going to be my amazing trip to California for Star Wars Celebration Anaheim this year. This past year, 2022, Star Wars Celebration Anaheim was my third Star Wars celebration that I've been to. Something that I had always wanted to do for a long time. Debated traveling to go to Star Wars Celebration. I originally was in Maryland, and none really came close to Maryland, so it was always going to be a travel. But from the very beginning, the Denver, Colorado Star Wars Celebration, I was like, wow, how could I get there? Knew it wasn't going to happen. When it came to Indianapolis, that was probably the closest it came to the Baltimore area. And that was really enticing. But again, I never really had traveled at that point, on my own. So it was probably not going to happen. And then the third one went to California. So I knew I wasn't going to be going to California cost wise. So it was a long time coming. So, Celebration Orlando just kind of tied into us moving down to Florida at that time. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go. I got to do this because this is it. This is my chance to actually do this. And I was working at Disney. I couldn't get all the time off. I bought all 4 days, but I still couldn't get the time off because it was really busy. I ended up skipping a day of work to go to Celebration because I spent the night and got into the Last Jedi panel and didn't want to go to work. So basically, I skipped. But I got there late the first day, so I kind of missed a lot of the first or half of a day one day. I can't remember. And then I ended up not going on Sunday because I ended up working on Sunday. So I went like 2.5 out of the 4 days of Orlando, but I loved it. And I loved the queuing up overnight and the fan community and everything and seeing and it was amazing. I mean, I met Ryan Johnson. It was awesome. Obviously, when they said the next one was going to be in Chicago, I was going home every night. Well, at least except for the night that I spent the night in the queue line. But I went home some of the other nights and I said, look, I told my wife, I said, I don't care where it is next in the next 2 years. I'm going to go because this is outstanding. So Chicago was announced, and I guess I'm going to Chicago. So immediately I knew I was going to Chicago. It just so happened that we went on a cruise that year, and literally I went back to back. I went on a cruise. A couple weeks later, I went to Chicago. I went for all 5 days to Chicago. It was Thursday through Monday that time. And, with kind of a half day on Thursday and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That was the last day. And immediately Monday was a half day as well. So immediately after I flew out Monday night, people that I worked with ended up going. Cast members that were in the 501st. I had amazing experiences hanging out with the 501st. That's where I got to walk around in Stormtrooper armor. It was amazing. So didn't get into a lot of the big panels that I wanted to because of the lottery system. But you know what? The fan community was awesome. And that really gave me the sense of really the panels aren't the part of Celebration that are the big part of it. If you can't get into the live panels, that's not the biggest thing. It's the community. It's hanging out with people. It's sharing your love of Star Wars and just walking around. And the floor was amazing. It was a lot of fun. The community was I had great fun at Star Wars Celebration Chicago. So obviously, where's the next one? Anaheim. Immediately when it was announced, I texted my wife and I basically said, do you want to go to Anaheim in 2 years? Obviously, I was hoping she'd be on board with this one because it's Disneyland. And we had never been to Disneyland. So it was great. Last year was outstanding. So definitely my number two moment, because going to Anaheim gave me two things. It gave me Star Wars Celebration again. It gave me the ability um, to just spread in this community of Star Wars and see people that I had met um, before, either at other celebrations or in other areas of our Star Wars fandom. My wife went with me, which was awesome. I got to share that with her. She didn't spend all the time with me, but it was fun. She did her own thing a couple times at the panels, and it was great. Um, and we got, yes, and I was getting to that. So I got to meet some amazing fans of the Galactic Star Cruiser, which we had a panel there. So the Heroes of the Halcyon were there. So many other people that had just started coming to the Star Cruiser. Some of them had already been on the ship, along with the Heroes of the Halcyon, and just meeting up with them and seeing them, and just already starting to just share our love of the Galactic Star Cruiser. Me being a crew member there was just outstanding. So it was such a great community and so much fun, and I had a great time. And there's like one little thing that I wish I would have done, and that was go to Mosh Isley, which I wish I didn't. Um, and who knows when I'm going to get to a Mosh Isley, but um, that would have been amazing if I could have did that. But I didn't really get involved with those that group of people and know who they were and what that whole thing was until afterwards. And I'm kicking myself now for not going to that one. Um, but Anaheim was great. I get into some amazing panels. I met so many people because we stayed on Disney property. We stayed at the Disney Grand California Hotel, which is where a lot of the um, panelists were staying. A lot of people that worked for Lucasfilm were staying there. Um, a lot of the guests were staying there. I ran into Ian McDiarmid at the bar and got to say hi to him. I walking through the hotel was walking behind D. Bradley Baker and um, said hello to him, and it was the coolest experience because not really sure it was him. I was like, how am I gonna figure out if this is D. Bradley Baker or not? And I was like, all right, let me just walk up behind him. And I just basically said, Captain Rex. And he, in the Rex voice, was reporting for duty, sir. And like immediately, I just like couldn't believe it. Saw Anthony Daniels at the hotel eating dinner. Too afraid to go up to him. I'm not going to bother him for dinner. I'm not going to bother anybody for dinner. But um, it was outstanding. Sitting at the bar, with Lucasfilm, Industrial Light and Magic people, and just chit chatting with them, having a couple drinks was a dream come true. Just shooting the breeze with these people. I wasn't there to get photographs, autographs. I just wanted to just talk with them about Star Wars. Talk with them about their experiences with the company, and really just share my love with them because they love what they do. It's an amazing experience. Just doesn't matter who they were. I didn't even know who some of these people were, and then I would see them the next day on the ILM panels and be like, oh my gosh, I was like totally chit chatting with them at the bar last night, and just freaking out that I didn't realize who some of these people were. And the community was just outstanding. So by far my favorite celebration out of all of them, um, which basically holds to the fact that definitely not gonna I'm not gonna not go to a Star Wars celebration. So that's why we're going to London this year. So and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Star Wars Anaheim celebration, definitely my number two Star Wars moment of 2022. Um, just to carry off on that, I got to go to Disneyland for the first time. California Adventure, walking in Walt's footsteps. Where the magic began. It's so great how Lucasfilm and Disney tie together because you have magic that's being made through Disney and it's always been made through Disney, and Star Wars, Lucasfilm, Industrial Light and magic is made in that amazing universe of Star Wars. So um, it's outstanding, and it's just a great community. So, we did a lot of cast member meetups. Uh, I went to the Star Wars floor panel, floor display every day, and visited um, our Disney ambassador and some of the people that I knew from the opening team of Star Wars. Some of the Imagineers were there, Sarah Thatcher and Scott Trowbridge and everyone, and just seeing them again and just saying hi, and it was great fun. So I got to see Matt Martin again. People that I got to see on the opening team of Star Cruiser that now I feel, I have this connection with, and I can, just go up and say hello because, I feel that I'm part of Star Wars canon now because of me being a crew member on the Galactic Star Cruiser and the stories that we tell, and it's outstanding. It's so much fun to be really immersed in part of that community. So definitely Anaheim Star Wars Celebration, my number two moment of 2022. And obviously, my number one moment is going to be being a part of the launch crew of Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, the Halcyon itself. I know you can kind of tell my face is already like just bounding with joy every time I mention it. Um, I'm going to try not to get emotional here because this was by far, I would say, my favorite, my all-time top moment out of anything Star Wars that I've ever done in my life. And I haven't even been as a guest. So it's it's surreal every day walking on that ship. And I had a new crew member with me today, and just going up there on the day one when we have passengers boarding, and it gets me every time watching them, the first group come off of the transport, and their faces that they see the Star Cruiser every time. Um, so Patrick, top of your 22. Um, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, saying that I was a part of that. So, and I my apologies if, because some people, I know a lot of people have been connecting with me, and I really, really, really wish I could remember everybody. And there's some that I will never forget. And if you ever come again, please, really reach out to me to let me know that, because it's you'll be back in 16 days. All right, I'm probably gonna still be there in 16 days. I promise I'm not going anywhere yet. I don't think. I could get a phone call tomorrow. Who knows? But I hope I'll be there. Message me the dates. I will try to make sure, because sometimes I can fluctuate my schedule, and I will try to be there for at least one of the days that you're there, Patrick. I would love to play story with you. As any group of the Heroes of the Halcyon know, even if I know who you are, I'm going to pretend like I don't, and it's going to be a struggle to make sure that I break character, as they found out the second time that they came on the cruise. I love to play story. Even if I'm not working and it's a Batu day, I will try to get there on Batu, and we'll meet up, and maybe we can sync up a spot at Oga's Cantina. So just, yeah, keep in the loop. Send me a direct message. We will we'll try to meet up. Either we'll play story on the ship, or if I'm not working, I will be there on Batu day. In studios, if I can get a park reservation, and we'll try to meet up there as well. But Star Cruiser has just been out. It's mind blowing every single day. And I actually was going to send an email to the Heroes of the Halcyon the other day, because I was listening to, I was a little behind on some of I'd skipped a couple of the podcasts, and I was on my way to work. It was this morning, actually. And I got to work and I basically told somebody that I was getting really emotional listening to their podcast on the way to work because I was listening to the episode where they had, and I can't remember her name, but it was her second time on the podcast, and it was the talking about the emotional connection that Star Cruiser does, and it was paralleling it with LARPing, which I've never done any of that. I've never done it. I'm not a big cosplayer. Um, I'll try to bound a little bit, but I'm not a really big cosplayer. I don't have the time or the money to get into all that. Um, but the emotional connection that the passengers are feeling, the connections, the similarities with LARPing and the drop feeling and the bleed feeling that was mentioned in that episode. I started thinking about what's going to happen when it's my last day on the Star Cruiser, and when I have to leave. And I almost started like foreshadowing that in my mind, and I was literally in tears on the way to work, because I really started thinking about how much my life has almost crossed over. Like my character that I portray on the ship and my actual genuine self, and how much we're connected, and how a piece of that's going to be taken away. And that feeling, my light just went out, for sorry about that. That feeling is going to be a really emotional drop for me, and I know it, and I don't know how I'm gonna handle it. And just thinking about that today on the way to work really got to me, because it's really been it's become a part of my life. And we talk about how we set ourselves up as crew members, and how we basically take it. You think it's a lot of play, but it's not. We take so much from our real lives and we make it into the story. So we have like an 80-20 rule, where it's really 80% of us that's in our characters, and 20% fake, which is kind of just an overlay of our characters, honestly. And that's with us general crew members. It's not with the entertainment cast, because they actually create stories for them. But us as crew members, the everyday passenger services, sanitation team, housekeepers, servers, chemists, whoever they are, um, we we really, it's most of what we're saying is our real life with a little bit of a twist. So it's a lot of us that's in those characters that we're bringing to the table. So I'm guessing, again, I've never done like LARPing, but I guess when you're creating your own stories, it's kind of the same thing. And I think that's why so many people have connections with all of our crew, is because we are bringing our authentic selves. So, as just mentioned, that the authenticity shows with us, and it's not just me; it's many of our crew, because we are bringing our authentic selves to the table within our characters. Um, Yeah, and the ones that have been there since the beginning, we really have like dived in, and we go deeper and deeper all the time. And sometimes we change up a little bit, and I've changed up my the way my character kind of like plays, just to kind of break a little bit, and hopefully not get sucked in too deep. So I'll break, and sometimes I'll do other paths, kind of, or different little tweaks to my backstory. But yeah, those of us that have been there really long have gotten really good at it. It's almost like we've gotten too good at lying, which is kind of scary. But we've been really good play actors in this way, and the way that we like respond to certain situations. So it's definitely going to be hard. as far as leaving. But so yeah, so Star Cruiser is definitely my number one moment. And like I said, it's brought me so many different things. You know, it's given me the courage to do something like this now, and start this little live stream thing and talk about Star Wars. And it gave me uh, a name that everybody jokes about now, and it's the whole crew knows me now as the Crucial Crew member, and we all laugh about it, and that's my thing. And the Heroes of the Halcyon helped out with that. I mean, I have an action figure card back now. I'm really trying to get an action figure. Honestly, I'm working on that, because I have somebody that I work with that she has an action figure that her husband created for herself for the Galactic Star Cruiser. So we're working on an action figure. So we'll see what happens with that. But that would just be amazing. I just gotta talk to her, figure out, like, see if I can't figure this out. I mean, she looks really a lot like Mon Mothma. So basically, she just used the Mon Mothma character and then put that in an action figure card back for Galactic Star Cruiser. So, but it looks amazing, and now I want an action figure of myself. We just got to figure out somehow how to get a CSL crew member uniform or something that looks like it, like a Bespin guard or something. I don't know. That's the closest thing that I can think of that from character that looks like from the old Star Wars action figures. But yeah, I mean, just going to Star Wars Celebration, everybody seeing me and getting to know me, and all these being on the podcast. Here's the House Me invited me on their podcast, and that was just an amazing experience. People now recognize me. I've had twice in the last 2 months passengers come up to me and hear me and then look at me and kind of give me a second glance and say, "You're the Crucial Crew member," and it shocks me and it just blows me away. And I had another group that's on Instagram that follows me, the Halcyon Hype House travel agency. They were on a couple weeks ago, and literally I was talking to their son and having a lot of fun with him at the end of the night. And she came up to me and she talked to me for a little bit, and then she walked away, and she came back with her husband and her son and said, "I need to get a picture with you. You're the Crucial Crew member." And she took a picture of me in the atrium, and it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun to be recognized for what you do, and it just makes it's a blast. It's a blast. Um, yeah, and that's what I'm thinking, like a selfie series. Yeah, like a series with similar shaped clothing. I could have it painted. At least get somebody to put, like, maybe, even though our costumes are pretty bare, I would want to maybe CSL it up a little bit and put the little CSL sign, like an orange. If I had like some character with the blue and like put like the orange, even if it wasn't exactly the same, something very similar, but like some costume with like blue. And yeah, I'm just gonna have to look around and see what I can match up and see if I can't tweak something and get something done. I know Hasbro is doing those figures that you can get created now, so maybe even something that route where they can actually get the likeness and everything. I don't know. I got to look into all that stuff, but it would be fun to have an action figure of myself at some point. So Galactic Star Cruiser, my top moment of 2022, definitely. So moving on now to this year, 2023. What are my top 3 moments that I am looking forward to? And there's been a lot of not really knowing what was going to be my top moment, what was going to be my second, because I didn't really know what I was going to be doing this year, what I was going to be able to could afford to do, not afford to do. And so obviously that was going to depend upon what I was going to be my top moment, because if I was going to throw this out there, if I was able to go on the Star Cruiser this year, that would be my top moment, honestly, because I got to do the test of Star Cruiser and be a passenger, but really we weren't fully on point yet. And seeing everything now, I know, being a passenger and kind of now knowing what I know as a crew member, I would play it hard and different, and not really, I wouldn't have the FOMO because I see everything every day. So I would really play relaxed and cool. And I already have a character in mind and everything. If I ever go on the ship, what it's going to be. And there might be some hints of that character coming out at some point with me being a crew member, and also maybe when I go to London. So I'm going to try to start to develop that character if I ever get to the Star Cruiser. But I don't think I'm going to be able to go this year. So that's not going to make the list. But I'm going through and I'm looking at my top 3 moments of what I think is going to be my top 3 moments of 2023. And I'm going to say my number 3 is that I'm looking forward to. My top moments is basically continuing to be a crew member on the Star Cruiser. Because as long as I'm there, it's going to be in my top. It has to be. It's not going to be, it's definitely not at the top this year. It's not the top thing that I'm looking forward to. But it's still there. I don't know how long I'm going to be there, but I'm gonna enjoy it while I have it, and I know I'm gonna miss it when I leave. And I know if I leave, it's gonna make me want to go back as a passenger. So, and that might be sooner than later. If I do leave earlier, maybe I can get there before the end of the year. Who knows? As a passenger. Or maybe it'll hold off till the next year, but that's gonna be my top, my third is continuing to be a crew member, continuing to play this story with our passengers that are enjoying this amazing Star Cruiser that we have, and it's gonna last. It's gonna last. I know we hear rumors a lot about it's not being successful. It's gonna close. It's not gonna close. It is being successful. We're not going anywhere. So Disney can't turn back. We can only go up further from here. So whatever gets done after this, it's going to be better. And I can't even imagine anything better. But it's outstanding what we've done, and we've set the bar high. And it's going to be a while before somebody or even us does any better than what we've done at Star Cruiser, honestly. And if I have a part in whatever's next, that would be amazing as well. So that's definitely my number 3 for this year of what I'm looking forward to in Star Wars. My number 2 is Ahsoka. Ahsoka. Disney Plus series Ahsoka. Ahsoka is right now by far my favorite Star Wars character, which is crazy to think about, because if you would have asked me that as the Clone Wars was on and running as a series, I would not have said Ahsoka's my favorite character. I would have said, yeah, she's great, but I still like the original trilogy. I still like the original characters, and those were my favorite characters. But when Clone Wars got to the end of the series, and you really started to see Ahsoka stand on her own, and the Siege of Mandalore and those last few episodes, and how deep you get into Ahsoka's character, and then Ahsoka showing up in The Mandalorian, both times Rosario Dawson on point. I love the way she portrayed the character. Don't get me wrong, Ashley did an amazing job. And Ashley will always be Ahsoka from the beginning. She made that character. She made it what I love about it. But I do feel that Rosario did an amazing job bringing that character to life in live action. And I love both of them for what they've done. I am super excited to see what Dave Filoni, because he created that character, and to bring a story that's a standalone story for Ahsoka, I am so excited. And I'm trying not to get too excited, because I do not want to set the bar high in my mind and think about what it's going to be about, because I just want to just see it made. I want to see it on screen, and I just want to feel it, because I love that character so much. And I honestly, I believe that Ahsoka is the best Jedi ever because she understood it. She understood it better than anybody else. She got it. She understood that there was some ways of the Jedi that were wrong. The thinking was wrong. I stopped watching trailers so that you know what that's great. I can't do that. I honestly I'm not scouring the internet. I'm not looking for all sorts of tiny bits of information, rumors here and there and all that. I did that one time for the prequels and I mean it didn't really do any difference because a lot of the rumors were wrong, but I'm good with trailers. I'll watch trailers. I mean, obviously I'm going to Star Wars Celebration. There's going to be hints. I'm all for going to the panels of new releases, trailers, all sorts of announcements. I love that. Um, so I'm not that. I won't hold back from all that. But any official release information, I will read as far as like what's on StarWars.com, so forth. But if it's anything, I don't really look at the other sites. I'll listen to podcasts, but most of the podcasts I listen to don't really get into I mean, they might get into a little speculation, but they're not releasing like information like, oh, we've heard this too much. So I'm fine with that. Yeah, London. Yeah, London is huge. London is huge. London's going to be amazing, and I'm looking for maybe I'm hoping for a first episode. I know that Ahsoka will be either that or we'll get a really extensive reel from Ahsoka because it's not going to be until the end of this year. Is the projected time frame of the release. So we're thinking maybe a fall, early winter release. Maybe haven't been official yet. Um, and there's a lot of other Disney Plus series coming out that could have topped that, but that's my only one that's going to be on the list is Ahsoka. But we got Mandalorian season 3, which could have some crossover ties with Ahsoka, maybe. We got Skeleton Crew, which could have ties because that's in the Mando universe. We got what else is coming out? Well, Bad Batch season 2 is coming out this week, which we'll talk about a little bit after I get through my top three. But and Visions is a great, cool side series of stories that we got coming out. The season 2 of that, so we got a lot of stuff coming out. But Ahsoka's definitely, I think it might be too early for Acolyte at London. Um, maybe maybe we'll get some more information on who's going to be in Acolyte and the story, and maybe some stills. But I don't think we're going to get any content from Acolyte. I don't know because I'm thinking Acolyte. They haven't said anything about Acolyte coming out this year. I think it's going to be more of a 2024 thing, maybe. But I'm excited about Acolyte. And honestly, that's probably going to be on my top in 2024 if that's going to be on the list because I'm really excited about a different era of Star Wars. And I'm not really in too much. I've started reading some of the High Republic series, and it's really starting to intrigue me. So I'm excited about the Acolyte. Actually, that could very well end up being my favorite Star Wars series. Maybe we'll see. We'll see how Andor like plays out, um, but Ahsoka, super excited this year for Ahsoka. So that's definitely my number 2. And then number 1, I've already talked about it. Where am I going? I'm going to London. Um, Gotta love a good guy, bad guy. I'm listening to the first High Republic now. Okay, cool, awesome. I really didn't need to do more books on tape type of thing. I think I'd have a lot of time because I'm a very slow reader. And I have a pretty good commute, half hour each way. But a lot of times when I'm on my commute, I'm either like doing a little bit of a live stream on my way home, or I'm listening to podcasts on my way to work. It's my way to get through podcasts is to listen on my way to work, kind of get me in that Star Wars mentality. But I feel if I did more books on tape, I'd be able to get through more content. Um, but yeah, my number 1 for this year, going to London, Star Wars Celebration London. Super excited about Star Wars Celebration London. I've been to London before, very briefly. Um, Excited to go back, spend some time there because I'm going to spend some time extra after. And yeah, we're going for all 4 days. So, and like I said, I'm gonna bring a little bit of my character that I'm developing to the table while I'm there every day. And I don't know if I'm gonna I really was trying to get into a lot of panels last year. I might not try to dive too hard into getting into panels. Um, it's so exhausting getting to a lot of panels. Um, I really missed a lot of meetups that I wanted to do this year. I'm kicking myself for not going to the podcast meetup because I've been following the Thank the Maker guys, and they seem really awesome. And I've been listening to Dano for quite some time now. And I mean, I've met Sarah and Steven, and they're amazing. Obviously, kind of in character, met them and not really get to talk to them, but I really want to go and just hang out with some of these guys and just chit chat with them for an hour or whatever the meetup is. Um, just because I mean they kind of have all the same love of Star Wars that I do. And there's some other podcasters that I'd love to meet up with if they're going to be there. And I'm going to try to contact some of these people and just talk to them about Star Wars. Uh, Listening to them, we have a lot of similar backgrounds. I'm older than most of them, um, but some of them are kind of the same age as I am, and we kind of started in Star Wars the same way and kind of grew up with Star Wars in the same way. And just telling stories that sometimes we just don't have time to tell in this avenue. And some of them, a lot of them don't listen to my podcast because I'm nothing compared to them right now. Maybe one day I'll get a little bit um, maybe something will be a little bit get a little bit bigger in this way, and I can start uh, making my dream come true and having some cool interviews and all that good stuff. But I don't care. I just love talking about Star Wars. So um, I just do this mainly for me, just to do this. But yeah, I'm really just looking forward again to the community. That's what's all Star Wars is about. So um, I really hope, yeah, I hope I have I know I'm gonna have a great time in London. Honestly, we already got our place that we're staying, and it seems like it's gonna be a amazing time. So um, I'm super excited. And maybe when we're out there, we're gonna do some sightseeing, and maybe we can hit up some Star Wars spots, go see some actual sites where some things were filmed. That would be really awesome. I've never really done that before either. Um, I've always wanted to do that, kind of do some Star Wars sightseeing as far as like film locations. So that would be really cool if I could do some of that stuff. Do some like location scouting, hunting, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so London, Star Wars Celebration London, first time overseas for a celebration. So can't wait. Looking forward to anybody that's there. So if you end up listening to this a little bit later and you're going to be in London, hit me up. Let me know. Um, we'll hook up and meet up at the at wherever, either at the site or maybe afterwards. Uh, let's just have some fun talking about Star Wars. Um, yeah, I'm super excited about that. So yeah, those are my top three of this year, top three of last year, top three of this year. Again, Bad Batch is getting released tonight. I wanted to just touch base and remind everybody of that. Can't believe it. Came up really quick. Season 2, episode 1. And oh, whoa, you know what? It's a double episode, isn't it? I think it might be a double episode. I think they said they were going to release 1 and 2 in the beginning, which I didn't even think about. So 2 episodes, I think, dropping tonight. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to watch it tomorrow. Unfortunately, I don't think. Maybe late tomorrow night. Maybe I'll get to at least watch maybe one of them. But I really want on Thursday. I think I might pop back on here. I might do a rewatch party on Thursday night at 10 and watch it together with some people. So if you want to pop on here, we'll sync up. We'll watch it together. Obviously, I can't show it, um, and you won't be able to hear the sound, but we can sync up, get it started together. If you've ever done anything like that before, and watch it together for a rewatch, or if it's your first time, it'll be a rewatch for me. And we can kind of talk about the episode as it goes, and maybe I'll catch up on some things that I maybe have missed. Um, yeah, so Bad Batch season 2 episode one, I'm looking forward to it. I was not a big Bad Batch fan when it first got going. I wasn't a big fan of them in the Clone Wars series that they showed up in. The first episode, I was loving it, and then it kind of went downhill for me the first season, but then it crept back up, and I overall enjoyed the series very much. And by the time the season ended, I was really looking forward to season 2. And the trailer, there's a lot of things that happened in the trailer that I'm excited about. So can't wait. Can't wait to see. We got more Star Wars content coming out. And I can't like not mention Willow this week because Willow is still going, and it's still going strong in my mind. I'm a big fan of Willow. I'm liking it. It's there's some parts of it that are a little bit disappointing, but I have to say last week's episode was really good. Last week's episode, I was enjoying that a lot. Christian Slater had a cameo part last week, and I loved his character. I thought he brought some freshness to the series, and it was enjoyable. It was great. Um, so yeah, that episode overall was a good episode. That was a good episode overall last, and I'm really excited to see next week's. It ended in a way where I'm excited for this week. Um, Yeah, and I'm still digging the whole like modern music soundtrack that's going on. It's weird, but I like it. I'm digging it. I mean, I'm a big fan of like that kind of stuff with modern music with old stories. So I mean, I was a big fan of Romeo and Juliet, the Baz Luhrmann, with Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio, and the modern music with that. I was a big fan of Moulin Rouge. I was a big fan of Marie Antoinette with the 80s post punk alternative music in the background. I love that kind of mashup style. So I'm digging the whole like modern music twist with a fantasy film. It brings in a different take on it. And the song choices are great. I'm a big music guy, so and it's all this music is from that era, and yeah, so it's a lot of brings a lot of freshness to it, and I'm enjoying that. So it's a lot of fun. Um, I think that's it. I think that's all I kind of really wanted to talk about this week. I don't know if I put anything else in my comments that I wanted to mention, but hopefully, I mean, I'm a rewatch party on Thursday night. If it is 2 episodes this week, I might split that up. Maybe I'll do 1 episode Thursday, 1 episode Friday, but I doubt it. Oh, maybe I'll just pick 1 episode this week if that's the case. By the way, the flashes that's the Millennium Falcon leaving Tatooine, and the Star Destroyers are chasing them because I'm watching Star Wars right now. Always have Star Wars in the background. Um, yeah, so those are the flashes of light from the Star Destroyers blasting the Millennium Falcon as it's leaving Tatooine. Um, it's great. I love this. Oh yeah, by the way, so honestly, I mentioned this before earlier today. So today was the release of the switchover. It was an anniversary of basically when Star Wars uh, changed from. So obviously, comic book content when it first started was with Marvel. Then it switched to Dark Horse. Today was the anniversary of when it like left Dark Horse and switched back to Marvel, which was in 20, not 20, 19. Oh, no, it was 2020. 2013 was when 2014. So this was actually one of the last things that Dark Horse did in 2013, was the Star Wars comics. I don't know if anybody had these or has ever read these, but they're amazing. So they're based on George Lucas's original rough draft screenplay. Um, and I hadn't actually looked at this in probably 2 years. So a lot of Star Wars content has come out in the past 2 years. And just going back through and like just looking at the characters, what R2D2 looked like, which kind of almost reminisces what Chopper looks like now, and what Chewbacca kind of looked like, which basically now looks a lot like Zeb. Um, and then some of the vehicles and the characters that just look like other characters that now we see in other Star Wars content. And this was content that was kind of made way back, and we're still using this content, even though this wasn't canon. It's based off of the rough drafts, and then things that are written in here, like the Bendu. We started to have the Bendu canonized in Rebels. I just like glanced at this before I jumped on, and I'm gonna go ahead and read the series over again because it's so awesome to see how content gets reused, and this amazing content that just was from the mind of George Lucas from the very beginning, and was from the art of those amazing concept artists, including Ralph McQuarrie in the beginning, that we are still using this content to this day. So if you have never seen these, it's the Star Wars Dark Horse comics. So this was the number one issue. There was, I think it was 8 issues in total. I am actually missing one. I didn't realize it, but I'm missing one of the issues from the original. So I might be even missing more. I think I missed one, and then I was really mad, and then I stopped collecting them. But I have the 0 issue, which kind of like tells how everything came about, and then I only have issues 1, 3, and 4, which there was 8 issues. So I missed 2, and I could never find it, so I gave up. That's just the way I am. So, but it's a really good series. So, I've read the other issues on digital, but yeah, these Star Wars Dark Horse comics, check those out. They're pretty amazing if you can find them. I don't know if they ever did like a complete like trade paperback of it, but if they did, it's probably the way to go to find that somewhere. But this is the originals that I got. So I got the original number 1 when it came out. So good times. Anyway, thank you, those of you that joined tonight. Here's the Halcyon. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to hear from you in any way, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you soon in one way or another, either off the ship or on the ship the next time you visit, or connecting in some way before then. Who knows? And then Patrick, really enjoy you joining in, and I really enjoy the comments and talking. Can't wait for your visit again. Definitely message me, and we will, if you haven't already done so. I heard my phone buzzing a little bit. So, yeah, we're gonna look forward to your visit, and I will try to be there in some form or another, either on the ship or on Batu. Trying to either help you along your story or ruin your story, whatever that might be. But yeah, so again, thank you very much. If you're joining me on Thursday, that's great. If you're not already a follower, the Crucial Crew member on Instagram, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can check out my past shows. Some of them are on here. Some of them were before I went live. I am Crucial. Thank you guys so much. You made me Crucial. You guys made me Crucial. And yeah, so follow me on Instagram. Follow me on the YouTube. channel. And then I repost these via audio on Spotify and Google Podcasts. Currently, are the only two that I repost these on, upload these on. Um, so yeah, so thank you all for joining me. I gotta get some sleep because I got some training tomorrow. I gotta welcome 10 new crew members to. I hope so. I hope I'll be there. I mean, we'll see each other either off the ship. I know we're gonna meet up regardless if I'm not on the ship, but um, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward. I don't work on. I mean, unless I'm on the Star Cruiser, I won't be working. Um, if I'm not working, I'm gonna be on Batu because usually May 4th, 5th is my holiday. Usually go to Batu on May 4th and 5th. Um, but I'm really hoping for that um, Caleb Dune, Kanan Jarrus lightsaber to come out. That's gonna be tough. I got to get to Batu to get that if it comes out on May the 4th. Um, but yeah, have a great night, everyone. I'm gonna be on the Star Cruiser tomorrow, training new crew members. Basically for all your upcoming voyages. So I got to get these guys ready to be in character for everybody. All my friends that are coming back or coming for the first time. So it's been a pleasure. Have a great night. Until next time, may the stars light your way.